And we are live.
We are live. This is like drunk Enya. Okay, like, I
You
want to.
keep
Oh,
taking like
I want to run a warm bubble bath and like dangle the plugged-in hair dryer over it.
oh
Just
yeah. Yeah. That's
rusty
like a little
spoon.
bit that's like a little bit of like a roulette action there. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody here. How's everyone doing?
Welcome to the show. This is expensive paper.
Number
You're
5.
number 5,
This
numero
is
cinco.
numero cinco. We've got a few people in here now. We got Plumber, Randy, Dragon's Horde, Incarnate, Silver Wolverine. How you guys doing tonight?
Now, are you reading that from the YouTube chat?
I'm looking all over the place. I have that. I'm looking in our.
There it is. I see Marco
Now it's showing up.
Fernandez. Okay, we're getting worried that there was something not connected right.
Now it's showing up.
We're good to go. Marco, how you doing, brother? Well,
So, yeah, go, man.
Stormulus Hobagalus, tell me about your week.
Yeah, it was a great week. In fact, just real quick, Nefarious just popped in. Polybuck, what's going on?
When you can upgrade the trail camera. Before, don't lose that train of thought. Happy birthday, Polybuck.
Happy birthday, Polly. I did not realize he had as big of a tramp stamp as the one that he has on his back. Did you see his post?
Yeah, he's got the 2 balls and the wiener that's tattooed on his back.
We're now going to call him Falcon. That's his nickname now. Do you see those wings on his back?
I was going to say Angelina Jolie, but we'll go with Falcon.
Incarnate. What's up, Randy?
Incarnate's got a bounce already. Man,
He's got a bounce. But so just so you know, guys, real quick, Nefarious, I just made you a moderator. Thank you so much. Now, Nefarious Comics, DOA, I was thinking at some point we could probably have him on our show. He's got a big following over on Instagram. And, he is a dealer of high-end comics, stuff that you and I are texting each other on the daily about.
Nefarious, go away. Can somebody block Nefarious so I don't go spend any money?
Unfortunately, I just modded him, so he.
Oh God!
So he can't be blocked at all. And he's really good friends with Nerdy Girl Comics, and I know you know Nerdy Girl. And and the other thing that's cool. Ready for this? Okay,
I'm ready.
Well, I don't know how cool this is. He's Canadian.
I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him
on there. Nefarious Comics. He's Canadian, so he loses a couple points there. However, he looks like he could be George St. Pierre's stunt double.
Why?
He looks like he could be George St. Pierre's stunt double. So, they're both Canadian, and he is into UFC, and so there you go. But
Jorge is a good-looking fella, man, and he can whoop some butt. So I just followed you, Nefarious. Let's see. You do? Is this him?
He's got the tattoo on his face. That's him. He's a cool dude. Very easygoing guy. And do you see what I mean? He looks like GSP.
Yep. Can you sprinkle some baby oil on yourself first? I want to see how close we can get it. Well, welcome to the club, Nefarious. I'm now a follower and a fan and maybe a customer.
he's I'm telling you, you already know. I just bought a couple comics off of him today. And so I sent him the money, and in about 6.5 years, I'll get it from him because he's in Canada. So I'll get it eventually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's a good dude. And he and I instantly became buds. So what's that? 0806. What are you showing me?
It's the time. They're making fun of the fact that my logo is on my background. See, guys, when you're proud of the brand you built, you put your fucking logo on your phone. Okay. Randy Matthews.
I'm proud of the brand that I built, but I have my kids as my background.
Yeah. I mean, you mean my kids?
Your kids. I have your kids. Both girls are on Uncle Stormy's wallpaper.
That just got weird. Almost
just a little
as weird
bit.
As the giant tattoo.
Yeah, it's Polly has some beautiful wings there. But one of the things too, Nefarious and I, we actually right before our stream, DOA, and you and I have been talking about this a lot. he and I were talking about with Nerdy Girl Comics. We were talking about the market across the board being down, right? You've got, by and large, we're seeing that all signs are saying we're in recession mode now. I'm seeing a couple people posted, it's in the news, we're officially now in the recession.
Right.
That being said, right, stocks, cryptos, NFTs in the toilet. Precious metals have been taking a beating. Um, and we're also now seeing the prices in collectibles coming down. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought that, before I even hopped on that, that recording with Nerdy Girl and Nefarious, I titled this show, what did I call it? Comic Books in a Down Market,
Right.
because you've been saying all along it's important to have like a cash, like a cash, cash reserves in the fact that you can then buy, comics or any sort of alternative asset in a down market. That's when your buying opportunities are.
100%.
And you just, recently, like a couple months ago, even though it was a deal that you worked on for a year, you just picked up that $90,000 deal that you did, and it's turning out to look like at least $300,000 to $400,000 worth of books so far.
So far, and I've only been through like one box.
Yep.
So
You've
yeah,
got a ways to go.
I've got a ways to go. But you're right when you talk about cash reserves. I know that sounds like pretty standard operating practice, but here's typically what happens when you get new blood in coins, comics, or cards, or any alternative asset, is they jump in because they get the
Mhm.
fever. They get a little bit of FOMO, right? I mean, you see this in the precious metal space all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody jumps in 2 feet head first, no clue whether there's water in the pool or not. And when the market takes a dip and people stop buying and the fever calms down, and look, precious metals hasn't really crashed.
No,
It's just kind of
peaks and valleys, and it's come down a little
flatlined.
bit.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
flatlined, and then it's got the ebbs and the flows, the normal ebbs and flows, but it's just not moving as strongly as it should historically based on the American dollar. So
Yeah.
that said, when collectors of any sort of alternative asset go jump in head first and they're not mentally prepared or have not experienced those ebbs and flows, the first thing they do is regret. Damn it, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done it. I knew better. It sounded too good to be true. I'm getting out.
Hmm.
And if you're seasoned and you understand that that's what's going to happen, you just stack some cash away because that's the opportunity to go snag somebody's entire stack of precious metals or somebody's entire comic collection or whatever because they've gotten too far in. They weren't prepared to hold out, and we're in an ebb.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
those are
we're
the
in.
buying opportunities. And I had the discussion in one of my private Instagram groups. Maple Stacker was saying, "Oh man, I showed him the comics that I bought yesterday. So I got Predator 1, which you and I
Mhm.
were talking about. I or did I pick that up today? It's becoming a blur. Um, God, I think that was today. I can't even remember. That was
it was
today.
it was this morning.
Was it this morning?
It was
Actually, Nefarious kind of helped me buy it. He was saying the same stuff that you were telling me. He was like, dude, he's like, there's going to be a Predator movie, and also if you like Predator, and I'm like, oh, I love Predator. Like I grew up watching that movie. That movie was kick ass. So, um, you know, I I bought that. I bought the other books, and it's Maple was like, I would hate to see you getting stuck holding the bag, and that was one of the fears that I had last year. Why I
last year.
sold, yeah, why I sold all those books that I had here beside me. I was like buying all these high end books, and then I started to offload them because I had the fear of a recession. But now I'm kind of the mindset. You know what? This has been a hobby that I was into when I was like a 10-year-old. It's something that I've always appreciated. I've always liked Marvel movies. Um, and I just enjoy it. It's cool to look at. I mean, we've talked about it all the time.
Mhm.
And so now I'm buying and I'm holding and I'm not really worried about it. And even if prices do come down, it's something that I'm just going to be holding long term. I think the
Yep.
ebbs and the flows, though, in the collectible markets are far longer and stretched out than they are, let's say, than in like a stock market, ebb and flow or precious metals. Because with collectibles, at least comics I saw, they weren't worth anything for a long period of time. And it really wasn't until the pandemic that we actually saw like this huge boom in the collectibles because people are looking to spend their money and get into something because they had nothing else to do.
Right.
Um, Somebody said in the chat, and I wanted to ask you, is this a correction? And I have my thoughts on this, but I want to give you the chance to actually get a couple words in here. Do you think this is a correction that we are seeing, or what are you thinking here?
I think market corrections happen when there are drastic and sporadic. Those two things have to sort of align for there
Mm-hmm.
to actually be a true correction. So if things get wild and willy really quickly for no apparent reason, then a correction is what's due.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's an organic, natural state of business, ebbs and flows, economic prowess of a country, GDP, taxation, like all of these things,
Everything.
everything impacts the ups and downs. Now, what is uniquely different, not necessarily correction by definition, it is taking a corrective action, but what is different with all assets this year is that people got into them for free by not going to work,
Yeah.
by getting government supported money, and by getting stimulus.
Yeah.
They got into them with very little emotional or mental or financial commitment. Getting out is heartburn. And
Yeah. A lot of
therefore,
the yeah.
and just to end that thought, therefore, when things like the GDP sink or when interest rates rise, normally alternative assets like precious metals would skyrocket. When the
Mm-hmm.
dollar weakens or the position of the American economy weakens, the precious metals would skyrocket. Instead, it's flatlined. That
Yeah.
is what's
It's
unique about
yes.
this year.
And this is exactly what I was actually saying to Nefarious Comics and Nerdy Girl when we were doing our recording, because they were asking like what's going on with precious metals. And metals are behaving in a way that is basically opposite of what all logic would point to and what history points to. Like when we
History,
do
yeah.
see these drops in the stock market and everything, silver and gold will follow, but then are very quick to rebound, and they usually take off before the stock market recovers. And so now, like you said, like it's kind of flatlined, which is still better than a continual tanking.
Right,
but
right.
but it is, again, we're coming off of, a pandemic, sort of. I mean, it's still lingering. But the other thing too is, I think it is a little bit of a market correction in that the pandemic caused everybody to be recluses and shut-ins, and they couldn't go out and they couldn't spend their money. And like you said, they had a little extra cash because they weren't spending money on commuting, and they didn't have to necessarily get their dry cleaning done all the time. Like there was a little
Well,
extra.
they didn't have to go to work.
Yeah, there
I
was
mean,
extra
like,
capital. And
yeah, there
so,
was
and then e-commerce was still flowing. So you were still able to buy precious metals, comic books, trading cards, and and so it took off. And now what we're seeing is people are able to go travel. They're able to go to concerts, they're able to go to the movies, and so there's less of that extra capital that they normally would have had during the pandemic to spend on collectibles. So I think that's also part of it too.
yeah, I mean that's a I mean, you know how I feel about this stuff. It's the reality is set in. I don't think people are genuinely saying, "Oh, I don't need to buy Nike tennis shoes to flip on eBay because I have a family vacation to plan." I think some people do, but I think reality is sunk in. There's no more stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
The expectation is that you should go back to work like you did 2 years prior to the pandemic. I think that people who took stimulus are now seeing that rebound in tax returns. I think the tax returns are coming in slower. I think the dollar is unstable. I think inflation is through the roof, and people are planning for a recession. So a more hard nosed look at it is it's a very volatile market, a very volatile space. And if you're not seasoned to prepare for that mentally, emotionally, or financially, then you are going to get the knee jerk reactions from people. That's how
Yeah.
you can almost tell who's a newbie and who's not, is those
Yeah.
knee jerk reactions. So, in the space in precious metals, for example, you'll see this all the time. There's a dip, and it's 9:30 in the morning, and price dropped 23 cents, which is massive. Price dropped on spot 8 cents. And then all of a sudden, all the shills come out on Instagram and go, buy the fucking dip.
Yeah.
Buy the
Yeah.
dip.
I hate it. I hate
It's
it
like,
so much.
wait, hold on, shill. There's no dip. It's gonna take weeks, if not months, for premium to come down. And who are you buying this dip from? It's almost just puppeting. They're just mouthing talking points.
Yes.
They don't actually have a clue what they're talking about or how to do it.
Yep.
And
I agree.
And that said, if the dip happens and it stays low like it has been, but premiums are staying high, then what happens? The collector, the investor, the stacker, whatever you are, they just get gun shy. They don't get more savvy with their purchasing. They don't amplify their buying power. They don't go to seek and obtain. They're like, I'm going to hide and maintain. Like, I'm going to hide, or I'm going to get out quietly without telling anybody.
Yep.
And
it's
a devastating mistake.
Yeah, the only time that we really see a huge amount of activity is when there's FOMO. When you see silver and gold taking off, and then it's in the media and people are saying, oh, price of metals, they keep on rising. Look at gold. That's when people start turning their heads. They're like, oh, maybe I should buy some of that. Maybe I should get into silver. Maybe I should get into some gold. And, that's when we see a high level of activity with silver and gold buying. And right now, kind of people are just like, you know what I mean? And there, like you said, though, that this is one of the things that is a little bit frustrating with this niche in general, with the content creators. There's quite a few of them who do post, buy the dip. Now's the time to buy the dip. And at least for as long as I can remember, I've said dips don't exist unless they're long sustained, and or you are dealing with like one of those local coin shops or something where they purely are buying and selling the silver and gold over the counter based off of spot, regardless of the divergence between the precious metals physical price and the paper price. And there are some shops that do operate that way, right? So they look at spot and they're like, okay, gold is at $1,750. I'll pay you $1,700 or $1,675 for that gold eagle. And then somebody comes in and they go to buy a gold eagle from them and they'll charge them $1,850 or something, 100 over spot. And they just operate in there. I mean, that's few and far between those people that actually just buy and sell off the spot.
Look, as a guy who runs an auction every week, you have to contend with the same things. But I'm going to say this, even though I don't think you've mouthed it to me directly. A real business owner has payroll, taxes, attorneys, fees, keeping the lights on, rent, insurance, all that crap, right? And you have your expenses running your business. I, at my shop, have expenses running that shop. I cannot actually afford to take the money out of commerce to wait for spot to bounce.
Right.
I can't afford it.
Right.
Like, it won't happen. You might be waiting for months. So you can't step over $1 to pick up a quarter. Sometimes you just have to accept the fact that the quarter's the quarter, and that's what you got to go for.
Yeah. I mean, I faced this last night. Go on.
Yeah. Talk about what you faced last night, because I think it comes into the comic space. You see a lot of these content creators, right, on YouTube. They're doing like the top 10 for this week, or the books to buy and not buy. Really, they don't do it in precious metals because it's more of like what type of metal. It's not like what coin to buy right now. But, in comics, it's like, don't buy these books. They're coming down.
Yeah.
Don't buy this book. It's crashing.
And buy this one, it's rumored that so-and-so is going to play XYZ character.
Correct.
Or Disney's coming out with this new series or something. One of the fears...
The same model... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and you and I were talking about it, I was getting a little bit of agita last night because over the last few weeks, we've seen this steady decline in the precious metals prices. And luckily, at least my viewers, they realize the fact that the physical metal prices and the spot prices have diverged. And so people aren't necessarily really glued to the old way of stacking where, we always saw silver and gold would sell like, a certain dollar amount over whatever the spot price is. Those days have long gone.
Hmm.
And so, but over the last few weeks, I've seen silver and gold continue to drop. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, because I, like everybody else, I'm also buying my inventory. Like when everybody's buying at the high and I'm selling, I still am replenishing, and my replenishment costs are high because that the dealers that I'm working with, I'm getting them at
Or
higher
worse,
prices,
what
or worse.
you buy it today, and it takes a
Mhm.
week to get the damn thing in the mail,
And
and
spot tanks.
spot's gone down another $1.25, and
That's happened many times over the last few weeks with gold, especially because and if you look at my Instagrams, you could see where I bulk up on these precious metals purchases. And so I would buy a tube of gold 1/10 ounce gold eagles,
mhm.
and then spot, you know 2 days later tanks a bit, and I'm still waiting on the gold to come in. By the time the gold rolls in, spot has dropped quite a bit. So now I'm going into that auction selling the gold for less than I was originally going to sell it, because they have to come down. And
Mhm.
then whatever's left over, then the stuff carries over to the following week. Same thing happened, and it continues to happen. So I'm watching my profit margins continually shrink like this, and I have to get creative. You have to come up
Yeah.
with other ways of selling stuff. So last night I was like, you know what? I've got these original stickers, a couple dollars extra if you guys want to buy these original stickers. And I had like 15, 20 people all say, yeah, I want that. I haven't bought that. Challenge coins, they cost me a certain amount. I have a little bit of a profit margin on there. Numismatics, I have wiggle room in some places, but though last night I was selling a bunch of things, did sell at a loss, but then luckily I had other things in place, that did appreciate in value and help cover it.
Look,
Um,
it's
yeah,
like Whatnot. It's like these guys that sell comics and cards or whatever on Whatnot, and they start every auction at $1. And I saw somebody sold an action whatever something or other for like 36,000, which is 10,000 under market. Comic Tom just did a video on it, I think today or yesterday, talking about it. These guys were trying to build their brand on Whatnot, trying to build their audience. They
I know
offered
what I know what you're
this
talking about.
this mega comic that's
It
40,
was an
fifty
amazing
thousand,
fantasy. It was an amazing fantasy. 15
something.
first
Yeah,
appearance of
okay.
Spider-Man.
So it it was like a $40,000, $50,000 book on the market, but
And they
it's
took it
ended
for
up
36.
they won it for like 30 something thousand dollars, and they're like, see, Whatnot's not the place to go. What that company did was take a 40 or $50,000 book and put it into commerce, because the opportunity cost was more valuable than the potential loss.
Mhm.
That's the same thing you're doing here. You can't afford to go off air for a month and
No.
wait for spot to bounce, because you would lose all your customers. They'd go
Yep.
find some other place to spend their money.
Yep.
Even if a fewer group of them go off, and because it's not you, you will still lose customers, and that opportunity cost is expensive. And
Yeah.
so there are these points where you're like, man, I just got to eat the turd on this one, so that
Yep.
they come back next week
100
hoping that there's a better deal.
100%. 100%. And you know me, I'm very meticulous with my record keeping. And thank you, Nefarious. I appreciate you, buddy. Um, and Southwest, I'm going to answer your question in just a
Thank you,
second.
brother. I actually just getting caught up on the chat, guys. So sorry. I'm usually better at that.
Yeah, but every auction, I keep track of the item I bought, how much I sold it for, the profit, and the people, like the name. I have
Hmm.
a spreadsheet all the way dating back from my very first auction up to the last one, which is 167. I've done 167 of these. And I can look and see how I've done in every single auction. Okay, this one I made X amount of profit. Wow, this one I was really great. Ooh, this one was terrible. And I knew going into last night, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, DOA, this is gonna be a bloodbath. But I always pull it out. I
Yeah.
have never lost my hide on any of my shows because consistently will have different items available, and it's like kind of not putting all of your eggs in one basket. I know some
Uh,
things will do very well, others won't.
I'm going to give you more credit than that because I think I'm going to give you more credit than that. You buy based on what you know your audience is wanting to pick up.
Yeah,
That's just like these comic guys or these card guys. That's just like NFTs, actually. You are crafting your product offering based on what the market demand is, and that market demand varies from buying group to buying group. I can watch 36 people gamble on duck races and scratcher tickets all night long and be stunned that they spent 6 hours doing this. I can watch Gaw Chasers spend 8 hours watching a live stream to win a war nickel. I can't fucking fathom it. I can't. I don't understand. I also have seen, I'm sitting at the high rollers table playing blackjack in Las Vegas, and I've watched a lady knock back 14 white Russians and dump as much money into a penny slot because she doesn't realize it's a penny slot. Like, if she had just gone to the $100 a pull machine, her odds would be 10,000 times greater than spending 12 hours at the penny slot machine, right?
mm-hmm.
The market audience, the buying audience varies based on what your brand attracts.
Yeah.
You strategically buy things, and that's like with me. I bought that $90,000 collection, right? There are some things in there that I want to keep. There are things in there that I need to have graded to sell that I know will help fund the rest of the grading. And then there's stuff in there where I'm like, it ain't worth none of the headache. I'm just gonna sell it like on the $5 bin. It's older, it's cool. Somebody needs it to fill a line, to fill a chase book that they're looking for, but I don't need to go spend all this time, money, energy, and stress getting it graded. That's what
Yeah.
happens. That's what happens in this market, whether it's a collectible or a precious metal. You got
And
to have what your audience wants.
yeah, and the ones that stick through it are the ones that survive, and the ones that just, like you said, either go off air or close down shop or say I don't have this item in stock, and they're hoping and waiting for stuff to come back up, you're losing it. And you're, in my opinion, like you said, with the opportunity costs, like you're better off if you have like $100 item, you're better off selling it at $80 than not selling it and sitting on it. And like I did that last night. I bought a what was it? A American Silver Eagle proof, Type 2, and it was the first one for 2021. It was the first time we had a Type 2 design in a proof, and it retails at $75.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it retails for. The going rate on eBay, I think, was 90, maybe $90 or whatever. It didn't appreciate a heck of a lot, but I'm just sitting on this thing. Like, I'm sick of looking at this thing. I'm going to sell it. I took it off my website and I put it on the auction last night. I think I started it at like 80 or something, and it was crickets. Nobody was buying. And I took it down, and then I did it again later on. I put it back up. I'm like, okay, let's just start it at 50. Let's see what happens. And it sold for like, I don't know, 65. I can't remember. But I'm like, whatever. I take a $10 loss on that one, but I cleared it out. I've got that $60 back out of
to
it.
put in
and
commerce somewhere else.
Put it into something else. And I know I'm going to make up for that loss in a different item. So whatever. It's just shuffling it all around. And the end of the game, at the end of the day, you're taking the collective of all of those items, and the overall cost of all those items and what the profit was. And that's how I view everything. I don't view everything. I've seen some auctions, and I know you have too. We've joked about them, where they'll just sit and wait until the item sells for a profit. It's like they're holding their audience hostage. But what's amazing is that the people will sit there drooling anyway. Like,
or they'll try to guilt them. They'll try to guilt them. You can't believe you're going to let me do this. Well, you're the one that put it up for sale. But I want to explain this because this is a learning experience for the audience too, right? So I don't know if I said this on our show or I did it with Precious Metals Unfiltered with Pauly, but I'm trying to see if I can find it. I bought the Malibu Sun Spawn, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know that I bought the #1 black and white Spawn.
Yep.
Both of those books I bought in 9.8. They're considered like grail chasers for the Todd McFarlane Spawn era. and the Malibu Sun was like in the $7,000 range,
Mm,
and the black was in like the $5,000 range, the black and
mm.
white. I've seen multiple copies come up since I bought it, and slowly the price has come down from that super high buzz. And instead of going into panic mode saying, "Holy God, I
What
paid
the hell did I do?
thousands of dollars more," what I said was, "Huh, they're now selling the black and white for 2,800, not 5,000. I'm going to buy it. If I buy it for 2,800, then I divide two books by the combination price. Now I've only paid
Dollar
$3,900.
cost average.
I'm dollar cost averaging it out, but that's where people make mistakes. They don't dollar cost average when the market tanks.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you should halt buying, run scared, go pawn the stuff off, or try to dump it and liquidate it. What it means is stop, relax, breathe, think, and buy smart. So the Malibu Sun, it's not $7,000, it's $5,000. It's a $2,000 drop. So if I go offer this guy 4,000 and he takes it, now I'm in to
5,500.
that's right. And now I own two of the most epic pieces there are in the highest grade with like 60 on the census worldwide.
You know what's interesting though is until you just said that now, I actually would never have thought of dollar cost averaging with collectibles. Even though I do it all the time with silver and gold,
Mm-hmm.
it never would have come across my mind to like, okay, if this book, which has dropped in some value, but not since I got it decent price, but if the Punisher first appearance drops 1,000, 2,000, I would never have thought of going out and buying another book to bring the costs down.
Down.
Never thought of doing that and applying that to
That's
collectibles.
exactly.
That's a great idea, dude. I'm
It's a.
glad I
It's a.
thought of it.
I'm glad you thought of it too. It's. I mean, it's something special that experience teaches, and I'm glad that you're here to share it with us. Uh, the truth of the matter is that's how you have to do it in business. And you're like, okay, instead that book, let's say it tanks, you could go, damn, John, I knew I should have gotten rid of this thing. Damn, I paid too much. No, son. Let's go find every one of them that are out there. We will buy them. That gives us a controlling interest in the market. It means that we can control the reflux when it comes to putting them back on the market for sale. And we're dollar cost averaging down. So by spending money, we're actually reducing the cost of our asset pool.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it sounds simple when you say it, right? And you're like,
absolutely, 100%. It's like, why didn't I think of it? Yeah,
that's the difference between amateur hour in precious metals and in like you do it in precious metals all the time. You do that shit all the time. But that's what makes amateur hour, is when you can't figure out or you run scared. I run into it, and it has nothing to do with buying the dip, because none of us are market makers. None of us are buying enough of anything to swing market opinion. So you can't act like you're missing some boat that never showed up at the dock. You literally have to go, how can I play in my pool, in my arena? How can I be impactful and influential within my circle so that my asset pool is improved? That's all the people got to focus on. That's it. Oh, you're typing in?
Yeah. This is funny. So number one, Southwest Stacker, he said about an hour and a half ago, he's been very patient. He said basically all investments now require some degree of speculation. And I said, absolutely, 100%. And then Chai Charon just said now, he said, did either one, this is going to bother you. He goes, did either one of you buy Predator number 1 9.8 for the release of the new comic and Netflix series? And
Both
I
of us
said,
did.
both of us did, but one of us did it the right way. And one of us made an oopsie Whoopsie daisy.
Oh, you want me to tell a story?
If you would like to.
Gen X says that makes the difference between actual entrepreneurs and amateurs trying to play with the big boys. I agree. So here's good point, Gen X. So here's, and bear with me, guys, as we're doing the comment stuff. We're gonna catch up. We promise. Piece of shit, making me relive this nightmare.
Chai Charon brought it up,
and he just nailed it. I bought the second print instead of the first print. So let me tell y'all what happened. I was in a bad mood, and I was doing what normal addicts do. I was looking for my fix to bring my mood and my spirits up. And I love the orange and blue Predator 1. I love it. And for whatever reason, I had heartburn about the $900 price point that they were asking for these things. At that point, I had heartburn about it. And it was like I hadn't bought something in 2 or 3 days. I was starting to get the itch. It was late at night, and I saw one, and I was like, oh, it's a or best offer. And I was like, I'm going to be slick. Let me just pour mouth this guy, and offered him $375. And I was like, if this dude takes it, that's a no-brainer price. I'm on my way. 40 seconds accepted. I'm like, hell yeah, I found a desperate one. I was all proud of myself. And
when did you realize the boo-boo?
When I went to look to see where the guy was shipping from. Because I think I was about to leave town. It was right before I was going to Florida. And so I was gone for like 9 days, and I wanted to know where it was coming from. If it's coming from Canada, I could have taken a 3-week vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was coming, not too far along, then I wanted to make sure I had somebody pick it up off the front porch. So looking at the damn listing, and there it is, buried at in the middle of like some string of numbers. It says 2 ND
print
PRT. And so I'm like, second fucking print. That's why he accepted it at $375. So I immediately messaged him, and I said, oh wait, he had not accepted it. I'm sorry. That's what it was. I'm confusing 2 different books. I realized it when I was trying to determine if I was going to make it here before I left town, before he accepted it. He had not accepted the damn thing yet. And I realized it said second print. So I immediately messaged him and said, bro, I accidentally bid on this. I didn't realize it was a second print. I thought it was a first. You have not accepted my offer yet. I would really appreciate if you would give me a pass. But I hate when people do that as a scam. So if you really want me to go through with it, I will. I've already committed, so I will. Motherfucker didn't say anything for 2 days. And like an hour before it expires, he accepted it with no comment. So he accepted the bid afterwards in hindsight. And I was like, well, now I'm left with leaving this guy a disgusting review, because now he waited to the very end. I tried to be polite. I was nice. I told him it was a mistake. Then I said I would absolutely buy it if it puts you in a hard spot or a pickle. And he waited till the last hour, then accepted it, and no comment. So now I've got to lambaste this guy on feedback, but I'm stuck. Now, granted, $375 for even the second print is not a bad price.
Chai Charon said the second print's going for $5.99 as of this morning. I said, but that might be yours.
So,
that might be DOA's.
But Chai, that's exactly the point. Words out of my mouth just now is that it's not a bad price for the second print. But for a personal piece that I want, it's got to be first print, 9.8. It has to be. There's no other option. So now that slab will sit in the box and will give me massive.
You're gonna be pissed off.
Yes,
you're gonna be pissed off every time you see it. You're gonna be like, that effing thing. Every single time you're gonna want to smash it.
Sean says that was very integrity of you for being willing to take the sale. Look, I have had people screw me on eBay, and so my thing was, look, I'm telling you the truth. I accidentally bid it. I didn't see you. I didn't accuse him, like say, hey, you buried this at the end of the listing, like on purpose. I think he did.
Of course he did.
But I was like, look, if if for somehow this lowball offer inconveniences you, then I don't want to put you out. I'll go ahead and take it. And they just accepted it with no comment. If nothing else, he should have said, hey, man, I get it, but I turned down 3 other offers. I got to accept yours. I would have at least been like, okay, cool. What? I mean,
So Silver Forever said your new brand, your name is no longer graded 10. It's actually graded 9.8 now. And Gen X said he'll buy it from you for $50 so you don't have to look at it.
Gen
If in
X,
fact it is going for, let's say, $5.99 as of this morning. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now. But if it is, then you could try to just flip it, you know.
well, while
And
you look that up, I'm going to address this. So SPB says that guy clearly had ill intentions. I agree. He was doing it maliciously. I was trying to be honorable.
he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing, and that's just dirty. I agree. Silver Forever. The problem is I've trademarked everything with graded 10. So it's going to be quite expensive to lose a fraction of a point there. I'll buy it for you. What's that?
I know I'm seeing sold July 1st. I'm seeing one at best offer accepted for less than $500. So I'm not seeing yours, but
he's saying sorry, $449 with best offer with $16.99 shipping. So I know that $375. I don't know what the numbers are, but I knew that $375 was still a good price for a second print, especially because when the movie comes out, everybody who cannot afford $1,200 for the first print are going to go spend $700 on the second print. So I know it's not a bad buy. It just annoys me that I
guy,
made, and I've done it before.
I know, but you know what? The thing too is unfortunate, and I did it also with that facsimile of the Spider-Man. I wasn't paying attention. It was a buy it now. The price was very much in line or close to the price of the one that is not a second printing, or the regular, and I bought it. And unfortunately, the buy it now thing, sometimes, like, if you see a good price, you have to act quick because there's other people that are going to do the same thing.
It's almost a reflex, and then
it's a total reflex and impulse. Yeah,
the thumb comes up off the button, and that you get that sink,
that pit, or especially when you see it, when you're like, oh god damn it, you're like, stupid, yeah, I've done it too. You gotta be careful. Unfortunately, it happens.
And part of that scam is they price the stuff exactly like it would be the first print, so it confuses you, and you get emotionally attached in the process, and then you hit buy. I did this too with a box of Pokemon. Like, one of these sealed booster boxes was going for like $2,000, and I put like 900, an offer for 900 on it, and the guy accepted it, and I was all thrilled. I was stoked, man. It showed up in the mail. I opened the box, and the box was completely open. All the packs had been opened, all the fucking cards, the wrappers, everything was shoved in the box. And I go, I got ganked by the post office. So I go back to the listing, and there it is, opened. They had it in the description. The very last line, this box, it was a cut and paste job for the original sealed box.
Of course.
But at the very end, it said, this box has been opened, period, at the very bottom of the secondary description. And the guy's like, haha, tough tits, you're out. And so I charged back the credit card, and I actually ended up winning the case because it was clearly
deceptive
practice,
ball bag move to try to shovel their shit and dump it onto somebody else.
Yep. And the worst part for me is that no matter how much money anybody thinks that we're made of, or our tolerance for pain, or our ability to spend, we are human. Stormy, we talk about this all the time. We're human. We have bills to pay. We have things that come up at home. We have day camp to pay for, school. We have bills like everybody else. And sometimes it's just not the right time to go dump $3,000 on something, or 2,000 on something, or 1,000 here. And so when you make a mistake like that and you spend 2 weeks waiting for your money, Again, opportunity cost. What other deals did you miss out on because your cash was tied up? Because
Yeah.
somebody was being a scumbag.
Yeah.
And not only was somebody being a scumbag, I was being a dumbass. I didn't read it all. I didn't read it.
Again, and people in the chat were also saying like we've all been there, you know. The the other thing though too, again, learning experience, right? I'm a lot more careful now, checking to see if something's a facsimile.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, you know, admittedly didn't even know about this Predator comic book until you brought it to my attention. I remember the comic book as a kid reading the Predator versus Batman. I had no idea though that there was this other one until you showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh man, that is awesome!"
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that there was a second printing until you told me that you got a second printing. And now I'm looking, I'm like, "Oh crap, there's second printings, and they look identical." It's not like Death of
Did you go?
Superman
Did you go check yours to make sure it didn't say second print somewhere in
multiple times. In fact, I'm nervous. In fact, let's see here. Let's see purchase history. I looked like 5 times. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
It says let me go back here. Let me click on this.
because you're like, if it happened to him, it can happen to me. Did I miss something? Was it
Mhm.
was it buried? Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, like, and I'll tell you this with Pokemon, especially because it happens here. Um, Pokemon, what they'll do is booster boxes, which is contains 36 packs. These are these things up here. Those are what you would consider to be a dealer display. The dealer would open it at the grocery store, and the kids would pick a pack, and you buy the pack, right? That's all they would do. But collectors realized that there are certain number of chase cards in a booster box. In fact, it's one of the only pre-packaged from the factory sets that contain a guaranteed number of pulls. They don't guarantee what that pull is, but it
They just say
guarantees.
you're gonna have at least 4 of these ultra rare
That's correct. Or there's
whatevers.
one rainbow rare in a case or something like that, right? And so rather than buying hundreds of random ass packs, you buy an expensive booster box and you have a better statistical average of actually having a chance to pull it, right? But what they'll do is they will open the box, they will rip open cards until they get the pull card. Then they take the remaining packs and put them on the side. They leave them sealed and put them on the side. Then they open another booster box and they go through all the packs until they get the pull card. They take whatever's left and they add it to another pile. So eventually they have enough remaining packs to make a booster box. 36 packs. But what they do is they take the 36 loose ones, put it in the booster box, and then say it's a booster box of Pokemon cards. And by definition, legally, they're telling you the truth.
Right.
But the contents,
Semantics. You have to look for factory sealed.
you have to look for factory sealed,
It has to
and
say
that
factory
becomes a whole
sealed, and
different.
that's the. Mm-hmm.
That begins a whole different can of worms. All right, let's see.
Now,
I just saw. What's that?
check here. I want to. Let's see here. We're going to quickly share screen here.
Chai Charon says, DOA, what is the dealio on your website? You're going to be listing all your wares on your own seller platform? Yes, Chai, I am.
How do I expand this thing here, man?
I
How
do
I
new.
expand?
Oh, you pick a new to fill up the screen. There you go. So, Chai,
Right?
yes, I am going to be doing that. I am trying to improve. I've tried all kinds of different platforms for the website for user interface and ease. And I finally found one that I want. So I have to finish the development of that. But I spent all last year focusing on eBay, and it cost me a fortune. Like anybody knows, the fees were incredibly high. And I decided to do my own platform. So eventually it'll be graded 10. I'm sorry. I needed to answer that question, so I wasn't ignoring him. What do you have here, brother?
So this is the one I bought, and second printing would have been dead center underneath where it says Dark Horse Comics. It would say second printing right in here. So I looked many times. I'm still looking now. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I keep looking because, in my opinion, I got it for 700. I think
which is a
that's
great deal.
a
What are
good
they?
price.
Okay, so now I'm annoyed. Can you look it up? Let's see what's available. I might just buy one right
I
now.
think it will make you feel better. I think they're going
You,
for like 829, 839. I was looking at this one in particular and I was like, is this coming from Canada? Is it where is this thing coming out? Why is it so cheap? Let me share the screen again.
yeah. So Sans Presses Bullion says my comic shop guy got sealed Pokemon packs from a collection, first series packs. What is the market call for one sealed pack first series? Sean, what you need to do is send me a picture on Instagram so I can validate that it's actually the first print. Because there's certain things about the pack that show whether it's the first print or the first series. There's two different big differences. If you have a sealed first print pack, it could be $10,000 for one sealed pack. If you have first series and not first print, then it's probably more like $500. So
I'm
there's
looking.
a significant difference. All right, what do you see, brother?
I'm just looking at, for whatever reason, I'm looking at on YouTube Studio. The picture quality of my share screen is very blurry for whatever reason. I don't know why it's capturing the screen blurry, but I'm looking here and I'm seeing that. Look at this one here, second print. Here's one for 950. Do you want to look at buy it nows? Right? You want to look at buy it
No,
nows.
best offers.
Accept offers.
Yeah, because what I'll do is I'll just go through and say 700, 700, 700, 700.
Here's a
Because
950, 995 from Canada.
Sean says 10,000 for a pack that's dumb target. Yes, it is dumb, but if it has the Charizard holographic card, it's $600,000. And if it's a PSA 10 Charizard, so that's why the pack goes for that much. If it contains the Charizard, it's $500,000, 300 to 500,000.
One here for 999. It is very blurry for whatever reason on their end. Here's one for 1020. This is a 9.6, so you're not going to want that.
Yeah, no.
Dude, there's not many listed. There's only 4 listed right now. And the cheapest one I'm seeing listed is 950. I could type in Predator 1 9.8 CGC without
Does anybody on the stream have one?
Aside from me.
Janine, shut up. I got a second print. You want to trade?
999, 950, 1020. I got a great
deal.
Yep, 995. They're all about $1,000 a piece, dude.
Oh, that 995 slanted, that was from
Canada. I know.
Yeah, but can you look at the English with the it might be yeah, click it.
Approximately 995 in the US.
Oh, okay.
So everything right now is about $1,000. If I go to my watch list, let's see if they're even in there anymore. This one was 829.
That's what Chai found.
This is the one. Yeah, it's in my watch list. This is the cheapest one right now, John.
Can you link it?
I'm gonna link you. Copy. Where do I send it to you? In the private chat? There. I just sent it to you in our private chat on Restream. So go look at the private chat. Go for it. You'll feel better, and then you'll just do the second one. You either put it on your website. It's more inventory. Look at it that way.
That's what I'm doing.
Actually, when is the movie? When is the movie and series and all that supposed to drop? Because you could start looking at getting that ready and up on your site in time for that movie and that release, because that would be the time for you to sell.
Let's see. Did I just get we just got an offer. That was fast.
You got an offer?
Yeah. Let's see. 8. All right. Let me do this. I'm
for Predator.
No, for something else. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh wait, Silver Trooper is dropping text messages on me. Ooh, he just found me one that's about 2 Silver Eagles more than what you paid.
How much was it? How much is it? 760
745.
on eBay?
No, I don't want to say where it is because it's only one. No offense, guys.
Dude, go for it. I don't know why the stream health says it's good connection. It's blurry. I apologize, guys. I don't know why it seemed to zonk out when we started share screen. Plus, I mean, I have excellent internet, so I don't know why.
Oh wait, this place charges a buyer's premium, so it would actually put
You have a
it
fee on
at,
top of it.
yeah. So this would actually be 770, which is
So
still cheaper.
$70 more. So it's like still 2 Silver Eagles more.
Let's see. Begin checkout. Bleh.
You are
So
doing it.
I think so. Oh man, I gotta log in and all this shit.
Do
Let's
it.
see.
Just do it.
Trooper's text reads middle finger, middle finger, middle finger. That is very true. That's usually how his texts come across to me.
That's
Sell book one
typically what he
before.
does for me too.
So, Sean, you said sell book one before the show drops. I
He wants it to keep it.
I want to keep it. I want to keep it. That's the one thing about the comics is that I don't have any mental heartache about keeping it. Like there's not a single ounce, thread, shred, muscle. There's not a single thing in my body that says I have to sell these things to get my money back out. I literally want to die with them and that my kids have an epic collection.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what I want. I want the kids to have an epic collection. Same thing with a lot of my Pokemon. I don't buy it because I need to flip it. I buy it because I want to have it. Now, to be truthful, I bought sealed cases of Pokemon so that on the next uptick, I can clear out the sealed cases for massive profit while keeping my collection to sort of season. So, like all the vintage stuff, like I'm not getting rid of that. Like if it's worth $20,000 today, it'll be worth $50,000 in 10 years. So it's guaranteed. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of it. So let's see. You
How
got any
far are
other?
you into buying it? So you're buying the one that Trooper sent you?
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, Trooper. He got you one for 770.
But it's saying that I don't have an account.
You could just quickly snipe the eBay one. 829.
Yeah, but
It's a little bit more.
that's $50-something more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? All right, I don't want to hang up on this. So I'm gonna work on it when we're done. We're an
It's
hour
gonna be
in.
gone. It's gonna be
I know.
gone by the time you
I
go
know.
on there.
Hey, Ron, what's up? Southwest. It's been a while. Ron. So Southwest Texas says, how are those Berserk comics going
Aren't
right
those
now?
the John Wick things?
Yeah, I like them, but they're just kind of not really doing anything. If anything,
They'll probably do something if they have another movie.
yeah, they will. I mean, they're gonna have another. They're gonna have another one.
Incarnate is saying I sense FOMO, and I don't think it's that. Here's the thing with me and DOA. It's not necessarily that DOA has FOMO. It's he and I very much are monkey see, monkey do. Even when we don't know when one is doing one thing, we're doing the same exact thing. Like a couple days ago, I was in the process of redoing my office. I was taking things off of one wall. The Warriors poster has now been retired, and I've been hanging up the comic books and everything. And I was just tearing stuff apart. And I texted him. I'm like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. Look at," and he's like, "Dude," he sends me a picture. He's doing the same exact thing, taking down all of his stuff. He's painting his shelves. He's reconfiguring everything to get the background. I'm like, it's weird that we're both doing like the same exact thing. And like, I had no idea that we were doing that. I could have been doing anything. He could have been baking cookies, and I could have been,
Mm-hmm.
mowing the lawn or whatever. But we were doing the same thing, just reorganizing our office. And so when he buys a book and I really want it, I end up buying the book. Like, so Predator, he brought it to my attention. I'm like, that is really cool. He's like, I know, I'm buying one. He bought it. He got the wrong one. I'm like, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to get the correct book. And now
Just
he's like, crap, I want one.
you're 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 throwing salt in my big wound right now, you bastard. So let's see. Oh, Ninja's here. What's up, Nate? What's
Hey,
going on, brother?
buddy.
Good to see you. Sexy dudes. There's only one sexy guy on this channel, and it's not that one.
Oh, man. You pointed at yours. You were correct.
I know. I pointed at myself first. I'm not a weatherman. DOA buy it on eBay, no FOMO. Yeah, I don't have any FOMO, and eBay is usually where I go, but this is a solid source. It's actually a distributor site.
It's just that DOA really likes this book. He's been talking about it for a while, and the fact that he doesn't have the original printing in a 9.8 would eat away at him. And it's not it's not at a price point that is really hard for him to pull the trigger on. It's just the fact now that he's got the first and the second. You know what, though? There's nothing to put it to you this way, though. You could look at it this way, too. It's going to actually make it feel not as bad. Ready? You've got the first printing of that Ghost Rider Glow in the Dark book, and then you bought the same thing, second printing in gold. I'm like, dude, but that's the second printing. You're like, yeah, but it's gold. This, I mean, I know that they look the same, but you have the first and the second printing, and you always say like how you like sets and stuff. You can look at it as a set.
There's no visual difference, which kind of makes it feel scummy. If it was like a
it's
black,
like it's the poor man's.
Yeah, it's like buying a Porsche Boxster. It's like, what? Who buys a Boxster when there's a 911? So, and there's nothing to beat up on second prints, honestly. But I think that if you're gonna do a second print, it's a money grab, because otherwise you would just do a variant cover. Like, really, what I don't it's one thing I don't understand about that hobby. Like, okay, if you're gonna do a reprint, do a homage. If you're gonna do a reprint, do a variant. I think once you
different,
yeah,
not
I think
just like, oh wow, we sold through all these books. There's obviously a demand. Let's print another 100,000.
Right, that I don't like. I mean, to put it in perspective of precious metals, I can't stand that they did that with the Besker bars, the 10-ounce Besker bars.
It's stupid that they did that.
Last year they were the first run is worth $1,000, $900 to $1,000, and they're still worth that. This year you can barely get rid of them for $550. The second print, the second
run, and they did 3,000 on these. Last year's I think was only 1,000. This year they did, I think, 3,000, if I'm not mistaken.
And I've compared them. There's no real
they're the same thing. It's just the year. And the thing with those is, and I have the one. It's over here on the shelf. I don't think you can't see it. But I was like, the first go around I didn't buy because I figured it was too high of a price point for me to resell.
I remember that conversation.
And then
we had the talk. Yeah, and you were like, damn it, I should have just done it.
Yep. But there was no way to tell. And for me, I'm looking at that as a unit. I'm not looking at it as, here's this 10-ounce bar. I'm looking at that as, that is what do they start at? $450 or something like that? That's a $450 unit in which I could possibly sell for $600 and make, the $150 profit. I could take the same amount of, $450 and divide that up between, 9 coins at 50 a piece or 10 coins or whatever at 45 a piece and make a little bit more profit that way, have more of a variety. I didn't want to lock up the $450. And then this year, because they issued basically another minting of them, I was unsure. Go ahead, dude.
I'm sorry, what's that? Yeah. Okay. My little baby's gonna come say hi. She's getting ready
Okay.
for bed.
Look, there she is.
Say hi, Sophia. Wave. Wave,
Who
Sophia.
knew? Who knew that DOA could produce a beautiful offspring? Let alone two. Oh, look at.
Wave.
She needs a mini gold crown.
She has a mini gold crown.
Did you see my comment to you? I said you need to stick her up on the hero shelf on your
Oh, she's
post on
waving now.
Instagram.
Now she's waving.
Hi.
You wave back. You want to wave back? And here's my other one. Oh, she's waving. Like, come in. Riley and Sophia, meet everybody. Come in closer, Riley. There you go. Come to me. There you go.
There you go. There
Oh, Lord.
she is.
Now the wife's here and the dog.
Everybody on John's lap.
She's the little baby's like, ah!
The neighbor. You're like, this is my neighbor Tim.
What are you doing taking shit off the desk? Uncle Randy's waiting for you to dig in the money drawer. All right, go. Thank you. Good night, girls. Can you shut that door? Thank you. Sorry, guys.
And so it was tricky for me this year pulling the trigger on the Besker bars because I'm like, all right, how are these going to sell? This is the second time they're going around. There's 3,000 of them instead of one. So I didn't buy 5. I bought 3, and then they sold through pretty quickly. And I bought a couple more, but. Yes. DOA. He's.
I'm making an offer.
It's taking you a long time. If you had just clicked the trigger on the 829.
Listen, bro, I am not going to go out that easy. I've done screwed up and bought the wrong book. I certainly am not going to let you rub it in my face that you bought it for $707 or whatever you paid for it. There's no way. I have to at least try. Okay? I have to try. She did steal Bob, Sean. She stole Bob. Bob's right here. Bob came back. Thanks, Steve Woods. I love them to death. They are great. Riley's the older one. She's 8. Well, she's turning 8 on the 16th, the 14th, 15th, and one of those days. And she is a ham for the camera. And then my little baby is just getting used to all the lights and colors and all the junk in here that she can grab and snatch when I'm not home. It's interesting to baby-proof your office.
Easy. Just put locks on the door and keep it shut.
Yeah, I do. And I have a camera system that connects in and on separate alarms so that I can get alerted when they're in here.
Do you feel so how long could it take? So this offer, you put in this offer, how long could it possibly take?
I mean, I'll buy it instantly as long as they accept it. I mean, I don't know.
But how long until like it's just some dude you sent in this offer, it could take them a day.
Thanks, Nate. Nate says I'm blessed. I agree. I am blessed. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of catching all the chats that have popped in about my kids. I have to say thank you to everybody.
SPB says if you buy the 829, you affect the market and you increase the value of my book.
Well, that's what he's trying to do. Listen,
you should take one for the team and do it, John.
You know who's got an entire model based on that? Silver Trooper.
Oh,
Silver Trooper has an entire model, or at least he used to. He's really calmed down on buying things, but the entire model is like whatever I did it. He goes and finds one significantly cheaper, so that and then
so he's doing the opposite. So he's hurting yours.
Yes, he's hurting mine so he can feel better, but then he uses my comp to establish the actual value. I mean, like, he's got this sauce worked out. He's got it worked out.
He goes, he's like, I'll give you X. He gets it for less than what you paid. He's like, hey, I got it for $20 less than you. Ha ha. And then he's going to go to his wife and like, hey, look, I got this for what a steal. It's worth 40, but I got it for 20.
Yeah,
he's screwing you. See, this is nothing but benefit. You know, you buy it for $829, you increase the value of my book by $129.
Well, so here's another thing. In almost every market, the more hands it changes, the more expensive it gets.
Mhm.
They get even in precious metals. Unless somebody's desperate and they're liquidating, every time it changes hands, you get into second tier, third tier, fourth tier, fifth tier. All these, Nate says, "Trooper, you sly dog." Oh, no, he's got it slicked out, man. He's got a gangster ass plan, and he's flawless at execution. He's like, "What'd you pay for that?" $900. He's like, "I just got it for $9 and free shipping." I'm like, "You bastard." This is like, that's his game. It's awesome. Anyway, what I was going to say is, in every market you should be increasing your price point 20%. In sports cards, it's like, I'm going to pay you 20% less than the last guy paid. It's a natural expectation that you just pay less and less and less. And I'm like, well, within, a handful of transactions, the card is actually valueless. So if you are a collector under the mindset that you have to constantly pay less than the last guy, eventually you've downgraded the collectible to valueless. That's my problem with models like that. What I would prefer is that I pay 20% more than the last guy paid for his, and the guy who buys it from me is gonna pay 20% more than the last guy paid for his. And that's how it should work, and that's how most markets do operate.
Most, yeah. Unless you're in a recession and declining collectibles market. This is like the guy who owns WATA,
WATA,
WATA. Yeah, what's
mhm.
that? What's WATA?
WATA, they grade the video games.
Oh, and did that scumbag move having other business partners overpay for items to jack up the market and make headline news?
Yeah, so that's what happens, and that also is what happens in the sports card market. They have these investment groups that get together and pay obscene amounts of money
Just to
for
affect the market value.
to affect market value, but really to get press. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like this. If you were selling that giant size X-Men behind you, that 8.0, what is that,
Mm-hmm.
$6,000, $7,000 book? I don't even know. What is that worth right now, fair market?
I paid
Not what you
40.
paid. What it's worth is like
It's
6,000
like it's
maybe.
between 5,300 and 6,500. It can
Okay.
range in
So
there. Now I'm gonna look it
so
up. Go on.
so let's say it's 6,000. Okay. If I offered you 60,000, you would have no reason to not sell it to me, because you could go buy 10 more of those books,
Right.
right?
Right.
If I paid 60,000 and then we went and released a press release saying the most expensive giant size X-Men in 8.0 from CGC to ever be sold in a private sale is this one. That brings attention and spotlight to something for a fabricated reason. And that's what these guys are doing.
Check this
That
out.
What's that?
I have to show you in the audience.
Everyone needs to make their money, Incarnate says. I agree.
Right?
June.
Check this out. May 25th, best offer on 6,200. June 8th, best offer on 67 hundo. 56.50, and then boom, there's Stormies. 42.71. I'm pretty
I
happy
mean,
with that.
you're giving Silver Trooper a run for his money.
42.71. I got it for 13, right? No, $1,400 less.
Amazing. Nate says that's like those Pokemon cards that going for insane amounts. Well, that's based on rarity. And yes, it was happening the same way, just at a much smaller scale. But like right now in sports cards, there's like this one of one Mac Jones card that sold for like $500,000. Like, who the fuck is Mac Jones? Like, he's got no track record. None. Why would anybody pay it? And it's because it's
Speculation and fabricated
well,
BS.
it's fabricated market inflation, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
fabricated. It's a bunch of guys got together, picked this card. Same thing with the LeBron James logo man. It's 3 logo man cutouts, patches from the jersey, and they thought it was going to bring $5 million. Why would it bring $5 million? A Mickey Mantle autographed baseball bat with his last home run hit didn't bring $5 million. Why would 3 jersey patch cutouts on a card of LeBron James, who's still playing, bring in more money than a Mickey Mantle final hit back. It's just like that's the definition of market manipulation, and it happens it happens all
all
the
the
time.
time. So what do you think here, boss man? An hour 15 in. I think
I'm
this is
good
a
with.
good. I think this is a good show.
Let's see.
Offer accepted.
Nope, it's a message from Trooper with
Uh-huh.
no middle finger. It says baseball prospect cards go for a couple $1,000s when they haven't even made the majors. That is Trooper. You can put it in the chat, brother. But that's true. And there's a difference between speculation and hype. And speculation is saying, like, hey, this Predator book, it's gone down from what it was 60 days ago. It was $1,000. Now they're 800, 850. Okay. That, according to some of the experts, that's still high. It's still coming down. It's in the process of decreasing in its value. But we know there's a movie sitting around out there somewhere. There just isn't enough information to associate that movie release with the value of the book yet. So, like, they come out with a release date, January 2023, that book will start going up. So, there's a difference between speculation and just hype. And speculating in sports cards, speculating on Pokemon, speculating on comics, that's pretty common practice. But if I were to go pay you $800,000 for that giant size X-Men, the natural assumption by the media is there's something special about that book. And the only thing special is that you and I have a side deal to make the transaction happen to get the news.
Right. I think we
Let's
should
see.
do that. I think you should send me 100K.
Oh, I know. I know that was coming. Nate says, I know Mike Jones is. Never heard of Mac Jones. Yep, Mac Jones. Exactly. He's a nobody with no track record. Pokemon toys from the 90s worth anything? The toys could be. The cards are definitely worth it if they're not mutilated. Unlike Magic cards. All right. Well, I mean, look, I think we've had a good, fun show. It's getting late. We don't need to burn the candle at both ends, brother. What do you think? You think we can wrap this thing up?
Yeah, and we'll do this again next week, same time. I'm happy for you that you're most likely going to be able to get the Predator that you want. If it doesn't, pan out with that particular one that you're looking at, again, there's that 829 one that I had sent you.
Oh, I'm gonna put my hound dog on it. I'm putting my hound dog on it. So Silver Trooper like has my credit card, and it's like, hey bud, go hunt me down this thing. And dude, this guy is killer. He's a killer. So sick him. Go get him.
Chopper, sick balls.
He will murder some people when it comes to buying stuff. I mean, absolute. Like, he'll negotiate down shipping to nothing, and it's really
because he
really
threatens
funny.
to tase them and pepper spray them, and he tells them, he's like, I have connections. I know how to get some police to show up at your door.
I think I've tried to get him to like use the badge of power before. He doesn't move on it, but he can definitely get himself a deal. And so when it comes to stuff like this, I know that's not in his taste arena to spend that kind of money, but he certainly doesn't mind negotiating down for me. But that said, it's a great place to leave this episode. I'm looking forward to next week. Before we leave, guys, can you all hit that like button for us? We're trying to grow this part, and I want to ask you this: can you make a watch list so that
a playlist for this?
Yeah,
I think it is in the playlist.
Okay,
I just have to add it on there.
So if you guys can sub to the playlist or whatever you need to do, I mean, you're already subbed to his channel, but just hit that like button for us. It shows us that you guys are enjoying it. I know it's not all metals, but it's a hodgepodge and a mix mash of a little bit of everything. That said,
I'll create a playlist. Maybe I don't have it as a playlist.
Janine says,
"Oh no, I have it."
She says, "Thank you, you two savages. Stay handsome. You know we will. We're gonna try.
We're gonna try, certainly."
Silver Forever, subscribe to the playlist. I don't think you can do that. See, that's how much content I produce. I'm telling you to subscribe to the playlist. Maybe that's a YouTube idea. Guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Stormy, I'll see you tomorrow, or we'll chat tomorrow.
You and I. Yeah. All right,
You'll
guys.
in 1 hour you're gonna be telling me I should be buying something. I know how this works. Guys, have a
Yeah,
great night. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it, and it was fun as always. Thank you to Stormy for hosting the show.
absolutely, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.